Hey, welcome back to the site. I'm Trent, and today we're going to tie the black ghost. The black ghost was developed by a gentleman named Herbert or Herb Welch in the 1927. So this year it's roughly 99 years old. A lot of people think it's a Carrie Stevens fly because of the hook and the style, and she certainly tied this, and when she tied it, she put her Carrie Stevens kind of process to it, and that's how I'm going to tie it as well, and I'll talk about it when I get to that point. So sit back, enjoy yourself, and let's get into the tie. Alright, I've already got the hook in the vise, and this is a kind of quintessential Carrie Stevens style hook. It's the 6X long 2X, what a lot of her flies and what Herb Welch used to tie his fly. So for the tail, I'm going to be using some yellow strung hackle. I'll also use this same yellow hackle for the throat of the fly. The entire body of this shank of the hook is just going to be some black floss, and I've went ahead and put some uni floss, which is a single strand, in my material bobbin. It's going to be ribbed with some mylar. This is silver on one side, gold on the other. I want the silver exposed. And then for the wing, I'm just using some white strung hackle. I'm using 4 of those. And then I'm actually going to put a cheek on of jungle cock, like this. So I want to show you how to fix it when you have, you see that? You have that split eye on your jungle cock. Jungle cock's expensive, and you don't want to be throwing away feathers just because in your bag or wherever you're keeping them, they got a little split. So what I do is I just take the feather, take my bobkin with a little bit of head cement, and I just kind of run it down in that middle area, and then kind of work it, pinch it, and glue that back together. It's not going to reseal completely like it did when it was new, but it does look a lot better. So that's a way to salvage your jungle cocks if you have some and they get split. I have several that are split, and I probably ought to just take the time one day to sit down and fix them all, but I fix them as I need them. So let's go ahead and start with the thread. I'm just using some 70 denier black, and I'm just going to start back here towards the end. A couple reasons. One, it'll help with my thread body here in a little bit. So I want to start the fly right at the midpoint between the hook point and where the barb is. So for the tail, I've just got a piece of that strung hackle. You can see I pomaded it, and I want a pretty good tail. I want it about equal to the gap of the hook. So I'm just going to take and peel off quite a bit of material, honestly, because I do want a nice big fat tail on this. It's a big fly, and I don't want to skimp. So I'm just going to kind of come in, get a measurement right here. Got it everything lined up, and then I'm just going to come in and measure, and a couple loose wraps. Make sure I like the placement. Make sure it's riding on the top of the hook as it should. Everything looks good. Then I'm going to come in, clip this at a bit of an angle, like so. And then I want to work that all the way around the shank of the hook. And this is an important step here, because you don't want to have a huge bump in the body of the fly. So I'm going to have a little bit because I tied some material on there. So what I'm going to do is just work the thread and create a little bit of a ramp for that, like so. Alright, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to roll it over as normal, and I'm going to tie in my rib. My rib is going to be this This is a size 10. I don't know how much I'm going to need, so I'm going to pull off probably 6-7 inches of material here. I'd rather have more than I need, and it gives me ample space to hold the material as I'm tying as well. There we go. So we'll just come in here. I want this rib to start all the way back here at the very back. And as always, I tell you, if you want the silver to show, I put silver down against the shank of the hook. Get that nice and secured. Alright, I had a little bit of problem. I had to do a little quick edit there. I accidentally clipped my floss. So putting the floss body on, we just want to take this floss in a nice touching wraps, give it a twist every now and again just to flatten out that floss. There's not a lot of tension here. I'm just adding materials. Once we get, these are just touching wraps side by side. So the neat thing about this, this fly was developed, like I said earlier, in 1927 by Herbert Welch, and he fished it for salmon, he fished it for trout. Then Carrie Stevens came, she was a very influential tyer at that time in Maine, and she had, of course, her own series of flies. I don't know if you noticed that just now, but my rib, I was having problems with the tying thread earlier, and the rib just decided to let go. So we're gonna reattach our rib because, well, we're gonna need it here in a couple minutes. All right, so anyway, Carrie Stevens, what she would do, because she was very much a production fly tyer. She, from a process point of view, she was very much into kind of commercializing and making sure that she had a very consistent fly pattern as she was selling them, and that they were easy for her to replicate. So what Carrie would do, and this is in her book, in different books about Carrie Stevens and her fly patterns, is she would actually take the time to pre-make wings, and she would have matching pairs of wings for the flies that she were going to tie pre-done. And what she would do is she knew the length of the feather she needed for the wing, and she would take, and she pretty well always used 4 feathers, two for each side, and she would glue them up near the tip where it would be tied in at the head. And in doing that, she could just have a whole collection of wings kind of pre-made, and then when she was tying, she could just do the bodies, do the tail, do the body, throat, and then she'd grab the wing that was pre-made and glued so it was nice and tight, and she'd add them, and it made her tying a lot quicker. And I've heard people talk about it now like she was cheating. I don't think she was cheating at all. I think that's a super smart way to tie these flies. There is a book out there. I have a copy behind me. Give me just a second. Let me finish this body up. And it is, well, I can't see it. Anyway, it's on Carrie Stevens flies. And what she would do, or what the author of the book did, was he was able to take a Carrie Stevens fly, and he actually took a razor to it and disassembled it. And in taking it apart, he was able to see how she actually tied them. So all I'm doing now is just putting my black tying thread on. I'm done with the uni floss. So I'm just gonna overwrap, change this out, and clip that stuff free. Okay. So next will be the rib. I'm just going to take my rib, and again, the rib is going to want to twist on you, so you just got to be careful that you don't let it twist. And you just want, I like my wraps. I like the black to be equal to the size of the or the interval between black and silver to be about the same as the width of the tinsel I'm using. So on these flies, this is not one of those 5 rib rule flies. So you just keep coming up like so till you get to where you're going to want to tie off for the head and put the wings and the throat in. And as I said, I knew I had a lot of extra material here. Boy, this stuff is not wanting to cooperate with me right there. I know I had extra material, but I'd rather have extra and something to hang on to. And it's not like I won't use this on another fly. So there is the body and the tail for this fly pattern. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take another feather off that yellow strung hackle. And you don't have to buy super expensive feathers. I'm sure Carrie Stevens did not have, at this time, you got to realize they didn't have like these genetic hackles and all this stuff we have now. I mean, they were tying these flies on some, what we would call now, some pretty cheap material. So you don't have to spend a fortune to tie this fly in material. So what I'm going to do, as you can tell, I've pomaded it and I've clipped the little tip. And what I did is I took the full feather. Of course, this one I've already stripped, and I kind of measured the material I wanted to use lengthwise for the throat. And then I clipped off the other, and these are kind of the distances I was looking for. So take this feather, got it all prepped up, and then, as always, Lord, that thing doesn't want to work with me. There we go. I'm going to come underneath and actually touch the shank of the hook with the feather over the top, and it's captured. Just 2 good wraps, and that's in. So take this up, and I'm just going to fold it all back like so, kind of gently. Get it moving in the direction I want. Then I'm going to clip and hold, and then I'm just going to come around once. And I'm going to use this whole segment of this feather I've got. Now I want the wraps to be one in front of the other. Don't put them on top of each other. One in front of the other. Come around, and maybe 2 more wraps here. It's just real important. Make sure you're stroking these fibers and getting them moving back in the direction you want them to. Okay, so that's up. Everything's up and out of the way. I'll just come through with my thread, move that feather quill forward just a little bit, and then I can clip that off. Just like so. Come in here, just clean up some of these. Right now I'm cleaning up that triangular tip that I tied in. I may have made that a little too big, but it'll be alright. Alright, now I'm going to wet my fingers and I'm just going to pull this down. So I want this throat like so. Then I can just kind of come back over just a little bit with some wraps. That'll help hold it down out of my way. Okay. And I have a few errant feathers on the top, or fibers on the top. I can just come in and clip those, but I just want to warn you, be careful when you do that. You can get out of hand and you can really mess up your fly when you decide to come in like that. So now we're just gonna clean this up a little bit and prep it for the head, or prep it for the wing rather. So we're there. Now my wing, I went ahead and prepped it in that Carrie Stevens style. So see, I have the two wings and the eye and the jungle cock eye all kind of pre-glued, and I can come in and I can set it where I want it. So I'm going to take all 4 feathers, both wing sets. I'm going to marry them up down here on my bench and bring them up, and I can set them right where I want them, just like so. Come up over the top, give a couple loose wraps. There's not a lot of tension there, and the wing's setting where I'm going to want it. So now all I'm going to do is tighten everything down. I can preen those feathers a little bit to make sure they tie this down. Just like so. I'm going to clip. Now when you're clipping these tag ends off, just make sure you're holding the wing. You can really cause yourself some problems when you do that. So and generally, I'll be honest, generally I like a small head, but on these streamer patterns, that streamers always have a little bit bigger head than, let's say, your dry fly or a nymph pattern will. So I'm just going to build up that head just a touch, like so. We got an errant fiber here, piece of thread. So last couple steps, we're going to go ahead and whip finish this fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, whip finish. And again, I don't know if you noticed or not, when you whip finish, it's not just putting the wraps on there. You want to start towards the eye and move backwards. That's a real good tip on how to whip finish. So last thing we're going to do is a little bit of lacquer. I'm using actually some black lacquer here. I have that, just ensures I get that really nice black lacquer head. So there you have it. There is the black ghost. It's a tied by Herbert Welch in 1927. Certainly resembles a lot of Carrie Stevens' style and fly patterns that I think were just popular in the Northeast at that time as well. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, drop the line below. I'd love to hear them. And if you have any suggestions on a fly you'd like to see tied, go ahead and let me know. I'm more than happy to tie one up and help out a fellow fly tyer. All right. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you around the vise.